It is I, yours truly, once again back with the current state of mind. Been through the most. 2024 is a year that we start to own our blessing. It's a year that we do not forget how capable we are. What the Lord has prepared for us, He doesn't have for somebody else. The struggle, man, continues. Aluta continua. Thinking about my general and his wonderful words. Aluta continua means the struggle continues. It will not only stop here, it will proceed. Do not forget how capable you are, General, of facing the battles that are right in front of you. I just think about how, as this year has started, what has happened in the past currently doesn't matter. What matters is what are you currently faced with? How are you going to be dealing with it? But most importantly, out of all things, what mindset have you chosen to instill to make sure that you find yourself being a victor and not a victim? Remain victorious, because the most important thing is for you to have victory over your current situation. We are being prepared. We are all being tested. I think about my good friends, my amazing brothers, my circle of accountability, Lubabalo Chadam Sipa, as well as Bongoletu Maholwana. Then I have the general, the one, the only, the great Joshua Gula, the man who always reminds me of how great I am, my father, my mentor, my brother, my friend. Man, I'm thankful for all these people, especially during this start of the year as I begin entering into my destiny, knowing full well that it will not be easy. Challenge will be thrown towards my way. I'm going to want to give up. But the most important thing is for me to let them know how I am going through, what I'm going through, and knowing full well that we can be able to figure out what we are going through at this current moment. Let's not forget that we've come this far for us to quit. We've come this far, we've faced tribulations for us to quit. And we are not in a position where we can be able to please the devil. When we give in into our situations, then we are pleasing the devil. We are only making the people that want us not to succeed happy. The only person that we have control over is ourselves. The only energy that we have control over is the energy that we decide to put out there. What fundamentally are we reminding ourselves when we are going through these struggles of what we are actually capable of? We forget sometimes that all we have currently is what we once prayed for. I remember once praying for all the things that I have now. And let me not forget that these things will be mine as long as I keep persevering, as long as I push through, as long as I remind myself that there is a reward for the pain. We pray so much for what we want, but we sometimes forget to pray for the strength to keep what we want once we get it. Almighty Lord Shiva, I ask of you to intervene in everything that we do, Lord Shiva, for us to be not dwelling too much on what could go wrong, but we should dwell too much on what could go right, because at the end of the day, there are much more emphasis on what we focus on, even if we are faced with defeat, looking us right in the eye. What could actually go right? What could actually come out of the fruition of us hanging on, us planning, us focusing on ourselves, having that growth mindset, not forgetting that we are being prepared. Let's be grateful. This life is meant for abundance. Let us not have our mindset trick us, and let us not have our current environment trick us into thinking that this is what we deserve. We are much greater than where we find ourselves. We are much capable than we are thinking. What matters is, what do our thinking, a majority of it, contributed towards to? Are we thinking about prosperity? Are we inviting abundance into our life? And if we are not, it is also our responsibility not to forget that even though we are here, we are being prepared. I am so glad sometimes that I have to pull myself out of the den, but I cannot do that alone. I can only do it with the people that matter most. My circle of accountability, like I said, these young men, as well as this mid-aged man called Joshua Kula, has contributed positively towards the mindset towards the outlook itself of who I can be as a male. Who am I out to be as a male? Let me not forget that everything happens for a reason, and that the Almighty, the Lord, the one who made us all, is working us in the realm of spirituality. Struggle is something that is a guarantee. I cannot be able to hide away from it. I'm thinking about my mother's strength, the amazing things that she had to do in order for us to be in this position. Her hard work will not go to waste. When we are being tested, let us remember that the Lord needs to be able to test, can we handle this weight, so that He can continue to further give us more weight. What are you being prepared for? Do you understand how important you are in this struggle for the life that you want? Do you understand how the future you needs you to continue to persevere, needs you to continue to maneuver yourself as you have? Because you won't get where you want to be by feeling sorry for yourself. You won't get where you need to go to without you going through this current struggle that you are faced with. You are capable. You are worthy. See yourself worthy. See greatness in yourself. And the world will not do that for you. You have to do that for yourself. Be very careful of the energy that you vibrate out there, because that energy is the same energy that you're going to be getting back. You keep telling yourself that you're not good enough. That's the energy you're going to be getting back. You keep telling yourself that you are good enough. That's the energy that you're going to be getting. Even if the world doesn't acknowledge you, continue to acknowledge yourself. Continue to reward yourself. Continue plowing through the struggle. There is nobody that became successful by not persevering through the struggle, by not trying again and again and again and again, over and over and over again. And let me remind you, brother and sister, that you and what you are going through is only temporary. There is nothing permanent in this life except death, and also taxes, by the way. But let us not forget how capable and strong we are as a unity. Attract the kind of energy that you want to be, as I have attracted these good brothers into my life, these good men. Only a few good men. And that is a reminder of everything that we actually are going through, is that you only need a few good men around you. Times will come where you're going to doubt yourself. Times will come where you feel like being a good man is not worthy. But let me remind you that once you take the decisions to go the other route, the other direction, then you have to live with the consequences. You have to live with the outcomes of you choosing to be otherwise. Because there are many who are in that situation where they find themselves that they no longer see the importance of good. The energy that you send out is the energy that you will get. About my good brother Chad, whom I had a very, very powerful phone call with, and he said that even though I'm going through all these things, the energy that I'll be giving to the next person is an energy of healing. It's an energy of positivity. It's an energy to remind them that do not forget that everything that is happening for a reason. You can be able to handle this. You just need to fine-tune your energy and not tune in too much into the feeling. Yes, acknowledge the feeling. I'm not saying do not acknowledge it. Saying that it doesn't exist is your biggest mistake. You acknowledging it is for you to say, okay, it's there, but I'm not going to dwell on it. It's there, I'm not going to dwell on it. Because once you do dwell on it, then you start to believe that feeling. You start to believe those thoughts. And yet you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are not you. Everything is passing. And if you keep on hanging on to these thoughts, what will they do? They will destroy you. They will destroy you. It takes years for you to build this. It can take seconds for you to actually destroy it. So before you actually go and make this decision, make sure that you ask yourself, will I be proud of who I become? Will I be proud of myself? Will I be proud of the decision that I made? And ultimately, that is the one thing that matters to me most. Will I be proud of the decision that I make today? Because you can make one fatal decision that can impact your entire life. Quitting is permanent, guys. Once you quit, that is permanent. You have to live with that your entire life. But trying again, it's hard. That's why too many of us don't understand how thinking is so hard. Thinking is hard. Don't think it's easy. But because you find yourself in this predicament, you think this is all there is to life. And yet that's not true. That's not true. Whatever you choose to believe in, that's your truth. You can believe lies and you can be thinking that that is the truth. And that ultimately decides how possible things are for you. So if you believe that you're destined for greatness, start gathering yourself. Start instilling a growth mindset. Start having thoughts of prosperity and also thoughts that are way beyond your current environment, way beyond your current situation, because it doesn't end here. If you cannot be able to handle where you're currently at, how are you thinking you're going to get to the next level? You won't be able to handle it. You'll be breaking down. We in the podcast have decided to make a message, to build an environment, to build a platform where people can be able to come in, listen, get motivation, not just any form of motivation, but motivation that will elevate them. The slogan of Motivational Maniac is elevate and motivate, or motivate and elevate, vice versa. So if you cannot be motivated, how can you elevate? But just remember, guys, motivation is temporary. You need to instill discipline. This is when discipline will kick in. This is me now talking to myself, because I was sitting in a predicament where I was like, why am I doing all of this? I don't see anyone listening. I'm not getting the outcomes that I want. That's because I was focused on things that I do not have control over. What do I have control over? Recording the episodes, editing the episodes, publishing the episodes, marketing the episodes. That's all I have control over. How and why and when people get to consume the content that I've made, that is not in my control. I should focus on what I have over my control, and that is putting out as much positivity as I can, becoming the best version of myself, attending to my energy, being selfish about my own self-improvement, because nobody's going to tell me, Thando, you need to improve on this. Thando needs to be the person who holds Thando responsible. Yo, bro, focus on this. This is the most important thing. If you do not get the results, if you do not improve this, it's fine. But at the end of the day, make sure that you are improving. Make sure that you are putting the responsibility on you. Be able to be in a position where you are taking criticism not as something negative or bad, but as something that you can be able to learn from, because that's information waiting for you right there. That is valuable information that you can use, pour into your psyche. Then you can be able to build on it. How do you expect yourself to grow if you're not going to have people telling you all the things that you don't want to hear sometimes? Improvement, even in negativity, wrapped in that negativity, there is something positive in there. But it's all about expression. It's all about perspective. How are you be able to see things? So start forgiving yourself. Start forgiving yourself, Thando. Start being aware that people come to you because they see something in you. And sometimes you might not see that. You let ego get into the way. You let your pride get into the way. And that could prevent you from learning about the best things that are available to you. The best things in life are for free. Loving a person, you don't need money. That's for free. Being kind to someone doesn't take money. That's for free. And a whole lot of other things that we take for granted. But we live in such a money-centric world that we forget that certain things are free for you to give out there. A word of encouragement to someone else. You don't need to have money in your pocket in order to be encouraging towards another person. Let's be kind, first of all, to ourselves. Let's be kind to others. Let's acknowledge the fact that life is a do-it-yourself project, we are not facing the same experiences. We do not get to see the same things. But that doesn't mean that we cannot help one another actually make things better. The worst thing you can ever do by being in a worse situation is to make things worse. Find means in which you're going to make things better. And feeling sorry for yourself won't help you. Instead, it will just make things even harder. Let's not be our own impairment, guys. It happens to me. I'm human as well. But at the end of the day, you need to get over that. Eventually, how long are you going to beat yourself up? Until when? Until when? Eventually, there has to be a time that comes that you stop all that bickering, all that complaining, and start taking some responsibility for what you have put in your pathway. That's on you. The people that you are with now, you attracted them into your life. So now you need to also have the responsibility to continue where you left off. The laws of attraction don't work only once. It's a continuation period. So who are you when you do not have your things going your way? Who are you? Are you defined by what you have? Or are you defined by the type of person that you want to become? Greatness is within, brother. Greatness is within, sister. Greatness is within to anybody who avails themselves to the challenge. Avail yourself to that challenge. I was in a position where I thought I couldn't do all that I'm doing. But if I had kept the same energy, if I had kept the same mindset, do you think I'll be able to do all of that? I'm not. You are quite capable of a lot of things that once you start paying attention and actually investing yourself into them, you will prosper. You will grow. You'll become all those things. It's all about mindset. I think about Ross Doman. Shout out to Ross Doman. That man's mindset blows me off the roof. That is the type of irons that you need to be around. Iron sharpens iron. Don't be around wood. Don't be around people who are going to constantly break you down and make you think that you and what you want to achieve in this life is not achievable. It is. Trust me. Trust me, it is. It's possible for you. If God, the Almighty, showed you your vision in your dreams, why are you going to go ahead and tell other people about the dream that only you see? Only you can be able to remember and see, most importantly, what happens in your dreams. So it's no one else's responsibility but your own. But if you don't take accountability, if you don't make the necessary steps to make that a reality, then you have yourself to blame. Nobody else. Nobody else. You see, the one thing I notice about the Almighty is that He wraps what we want in problems. Once we start to see problems as opportunities, then things will start to turn for the better. Within those problems that are in your life, there are opportunities. There are opportunities for you. Whether you pounce on them will totally depend on you. That is what you need to focus on. Focus on the opportunities. Pounce on those opportunities. And once you do, trust me, you'll start becoming proud of the necessary things that you have done. I don't become who I am currently now. I won't become the person that I want to be if I keep on doing the same thing. Insanity. Keep this constant cycle of learning, because you don't get nowhere if you don't learn. Learning is part of the journey. Learning is very, very vital in taking you from where you are currently to where you need to be. Be open-minded. Learn as much as you can from others. Learn from yourself. And some things you must understand that they will take time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Constantly lay a brick a day. I even forgot things that used to sustain me. And Lubabalo Chadam Sipa reminded me once I started getting employment that do not forget, my good brother, the things that kept you going when you had nothing. Just because you have this form of employment doesn't mean that you give up on what you were supposed to, that kept you going all these years. Do not forget the things that kept you sustained. Do not forget that you are where you are because of that. Keep doing what you were doing previously. That won't change. That shouldn't change at all. But also be prepared for the fact that you are going to doubt yourself. You're going to want to quit. You're going to be asking yourself, why did I get myself into this? But that is all part of the process. You are supposed to feel like that because it's something new. And as human beings, we must expose ourselves to as much things that challenge us as possible so that we can be able to test how capable we actually are. The ceiling, I'm telling you, the limit that you put yourself is the very same limit that you also have responsibility to break. If you think 10 push-ups is the limit for you, then 10 push-ups will be. But if you can be able to say, after consistently doing those 10 push-ups, and you start saying, can I be able to just push myself just one push-up more? That would be 11. 11 is better than 10. But once you start to conform and say, the ceiling only ends at 10, then the ceiling will only end at 10. You find that it's all in the mind. You find that it's all in the mind. So if you can push a little further, just one step before the other step, then what good will come out of this? It's you breaking your own limits. Stop letting fear get into your way. Stop letting things that won't take you forward be entertained by your mind. One thing you must get about the mind is that whatever you resist will persist. The questions sometimes I do ask myself when I'm in a position to reflect is, what kind of thoughts am I thinking today? Are these thoughts bringing me closer to what I seek, or are they continuing to further entrench me? Because in most instances, you are your own enemy. You are against you. And how do you think things will pan out if you are the first person who's against you? Then the whole world conspires. Because I see mindset sometimes as, he says he's not in the mood today, so let's prepare ourselves for not being in the mood. And that is what the universe delivers. He says today he wants to be great, so let us prepare ourselves so that we can accompany him in this greatness. Isn't that very funny and yet so true? We can get in our way. Many instances. But as long as we ground ourselves, as long as we remember that we are being prepared for something much bigger than us, we don't have time. Stop thinking that you have time. You don't. Get to work. Push through. Aluta. Continue. The struggle continues. Big shout out to Joshua Kula. Big shout out to Pongolwetu Maholwane. Big shout out to Lubabalo Chad Msipa. Big shout out to Sungula Sitekiana. Big shout out to Buhle Klokhana. Big shout out to Luko Tebuho Mamputa. And everyone who's contributed towards this journey positively, negatively. To all the irons out there, to everyone who's going through the most right now, I'm here to remind you that this is not the end. It is over only when the fat lady sings. And the fat lady I'm referring to is the Almighty. When he says he's done with you, he is done. That is when he'll be able to take you. But the moment he keeps waking you up, it means your story is not done. This is only the beginning. He keeps on gifting you on a daily basis. The biggest gift that we have each and every day is the gift of life. Not material, but life itself. There is no price that you can place on life because life is abundant. Life is wealthy, and whatever you think it is, you are right. Thank you very much for taking your time to listen to this. Thank you very much for considering my podcast as something where you can be able to gain strength, to take these words, apply them in your life as you can. You might not use everything that I said on this episode, but please do find some time to take whatever you can take and persevere and move it forward. You are dearly loved. You're dearly appreciated. You matter. You matter to yourself first. You matter to your loved ones. And also the future you. The future you will be able to look back at these days and say, thank you for not giving up. Thank you for persevering through. Thank you for pushing through the pain. I humbly go by the name of Thando Nkonyana. I'm the host of Motivational Maniac Podcast. I live to elevate and motivate. If this has contributed towards your life in a positive way, please don't forget to leave a review of this episode and also a review of the podcast, which will be highly appreciated. We're trying to grow this platform and also bring as much positivity as we can, because our goal with Motivational Maniac is to make positivity go viral. The world is already negative. We don't need any more of that. To anybody who I have wronged, I'd like to ask for forgiveness. To anybody in which I have not done what I had promised to do, I ask for your forgiveness. I ask for forgiveness from the Almighty Shiva, from all the wrongdoings that I have done in the past, for all the things that have not panned out the way that I have panned out, to all the people that I've hurt intentionally and unintentionally, consciously and unconsciously. I ask for forgiveness. I send this message out there so that I can be able to retrieve and turn the page towards greener pastures. To even the people that are not able to listen to this message, for those who are able to, please pass on the message if you can. But even if you can't, please keep this to yourself. I'm so glad that I'm doing this. As long as I have breath in this body, I'll continue doing this. Namaste and shalom.